yet another new show on the ATG network. I am Steve.
And I am Flossie.
We tried one a long time ago, but we're going to try another one. This is going to be part of ATG Watches. Chris and Sarah are doing right now the Fox universe. We've decided to plow through every single Star Trek ever made, so we'll be done in 25 fucking years because holy shit, there's a lot, and I didn't even realize it. Because we're gonna do the animated series, we're gonna do the, we're gonna do the movies. So there's a lot going on. We've decided to go by when they've been released, so not in chronological order, but by release date. Because if we're going chronologically, we'd have to start with one of the newer one of the newest series called oh, what the hell is it called? Discovery. So but we're gonna go by release date, and then we have to decide in like a year or two when we get to next generation. Do we run concurrent? Do we do because next generation runs into some OG movies
Okay.
and runs into Deep Space Nine toward the
Okay.
end. So that's a decision for a couple years from now. And who knows what's gonna happen in a couple years with this freaking whatever. Okay. Anyway, well, aren't idiot. Um, all right. What do you know of anything about Star Trek? Well, give me your base knowledge of the series you know, the movies that you know, and so forth.
Okay. So my base knowledge is really just being like in the room when my mom was watching it. So I know it happens in space. So there's that.
Good job.
I did watch the newer movies. So I have like,
Wait, the Chris Pine ones?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did watch those. Like I got sucked up when my mom was watching them. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll watch these.
Yeah.
Um, and then I know that I have seen The Wrath of Khan a long time ago, but
Okay.
I know I've seen it. But other than that, I know some basic characters from, you know,
Okay. So who do you know? Okay. So what series do you know?
I have no idea what series they are. I just know
No, but
that,
like, what are the name of the series that you know of?
uh,
Like the original series.
yes. And then Next Generation is pretty much the only other like title I know.
You know Deep Space Nine because I said it 1,000 times.
Well, yes, but I didn't like
I'm not saying if you know anything about it. It's like, do you know they exist in the universe?
and I know there's an animated series.
It's
That's
two animated series.
Oh, well, that's fun. That's good.
So you don't know anything about Voyager.
No,
Don't know anything about Enterprise.
no,
Don't know anything about Discovery.
no,
Strange New Worlds.
no.
Um, the newest movie that just came out called Section 31.
Yeah, didn't even know that.
And um, the other animated one, which is slipping my mind right now. And then the Kelvin universe, which is the Chris Pine ones. Okay. All right. So you're pretty you're you're pretty much a virgin when it comes to Star Trek.
Yeah. I know what they do talk about when they, like Big Bang, when they talk about it. That's
Okay.
about all I got.
So what are the characters that you know? Not that I don't
Um,
expect you to know like which. If you know what series they're in, that's great. But
I
what
have no
characters
idea.
do you know?
Um, well, I know Spock,
Yeah.
and I know Data, and Kirk,
Okay.
and it's uh LeVar Burton's Kirk character. Like I know he's
Okay.
yeah. So that's pretty much
And do you know which series Data's in?
no.
Okay. And do you know which version Levar is in?
Nope.
Okay.
Like I said,
Well, you
I
must know
walk
Will
in.
Wheaton's in Next Generation because of Big Bang.
Well, yes, okay, yes, but I really, it's I walk in, mom's watching it,
Yeah.
I see like 2 minutes of it and go, okay, it's Star
And
Trek
would
and
she
walk.
would she watch this one or would she watch like Next Generation?
No idea. It's whatever was on TV.
Oh, whichever one was
She
on.
just,
Okay,
yeah, she liked, it was her thing.
okay, got ya. Oh, you don't know shorts. You don't know short treks either, and you don't know Picard.
Well, I know of Picard, but
No,
not
but you
like,
don't know the series Picard. Is what I'm saying.
no.
Okay,
Yeah.
got ya. Okay. Um. So okay, I guess we should give a little backstory. So what's going to happen is we'll give a little backstory, but the way the show is going to be set up is I'm going to have Flo recap recap the episodes best she can, and then we're going to go. I'm going to ask her what IMDb rating she thinks that episode got, and then we'll rate it after 1 through 5. Um, and then maybe we should make some kind of list of should this go on like one of the best episodes of this series. So like we'll make a list, and if it's really good and you think it should be on, we'll put it on, and then at the end of watching the series, we'll whirl it down to the top 10 of that series.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. So background. So Gene Roddenberry was like a Navy pilot, I think. Um, in loved science fiction. He wrote a lot of the like Gunsmoke, a lot of the westerns for the time he wrote when he came back and wrote for those shows. So he wanted to do Wagon Train to the Stars, basically. Wagon Train was like a famous TV show where
Okay.
they would like it's like Old West. They travel and stuff like that. Um, so he went to CBS production company. He actually went to Desilu Studios. Do you know what Desilu Studios is?
No.
It is Lucille Ball's and her husband's studio
Oh,
production. So
okay.
basically, we have Lucille Ball to thank for Star Trek
Okay.
because she was behind the project from day one. Um, and as you know now, that the first episode was the first pilot, and the studio did not like it. Well, they liked some of it. They did not like all of it. They said it was too cerebral for the time.
And,
So they gave them the money to go back and shoot another one. Which when that comes, it's not it's not the second one we watched. It's not the second episode. It's not the first. It was not the first aired episode, but it was good enough to have them go and like do a series, do a season of it. And I think that one was called When No Man Has Gone Before. Yep. Okay. Yep. So from the original pilot, the only two people that came back was Lady Moisbach and Majel Barrett, who was Gene Roddenberry's wife, and she's also the computer ship's voice for a lot of Star Trek. But she was number one in the first episode.
okay.
She gets demoted because women can't be in charge of a spaceship in the 60s. So she was demoted to nurse with Bones. So still some sexism going on in the 60s. Um, but sci-fi is always meant to be like a reflection of the time set now, but in the future. So when those episodes come out, we'll talk about them. There's some pretty famous ones. So there's kind of overview of the series. It ran on NBC from September 8th, 1996 to June 3rd, 1969. Um, and like I said, an animated series came out of this, and then the original series. And then when we get to the first movie, we'll say why that was made because maybe another movie with the worst stars in it came out, and Paramount was like, "What do we have?" That's kind of like that. I think you can figure
Okay.
it out.
Okay.
Think real hard. Other big franchise with stars in it.
I don't know.
Think
There's,
Disney.
well, I know Star Wars.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Okay. I didn't know if you knew. All right. So let's go over the original pilot called The Cage.
Oh,
Uh,
good. I'm
you.
glad you wrote that because I didn't write that down.
Oh, I have all the information up. Don't you worry. I'm a professional.
Oh, good.
All right. Explain it to the people in the
Explain it.
shortest way possible. Don't do like a long, dragged out version like Chris does every time I tell him to explain something.
Well, since I only have one page of notes, I can only give you what I know. That they were on a mission because there was a ship, the Columbia, that crashed on a planet 18 years ago, and there's survivors. So they went to go collect these survivors, and they got duped by these alien people. And then there's a lot of mind tricks, which I get the super evil thing. And then they had to go rescue their captain.
But were they evil though? We'll go over it.
Well, I don't know. They were meant, I think you were supposed to think they were evil.
Yeah.
I think they were just trying to live their life and figure it out. But
This is what IMDb has for the description. Captain
okay,
Pike is held prisoner and tested by aliens who have the power to project incredibly lifelike illusions. So nowhere.
yeah,
Kind of close, but not really.
yeah.
All right. So for 1960, what did I say, 66? What did you
Sure.
think of the production design, the alien design? Were you grossed up by the giant heads? What were some of your main takeaways on this?
Well, it's definitely for the times you could tell that it's the the set productions and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
The heads for a second grossed me out, and then I was like, I wonder how hot those are to wear. I was like, I was like, that's a lot of like material because obviously for the 60s, what materials were they working with? So
Yeah,
that's where my brain went. But then the like the scenes of I'm gonna shoot the rock and you see the rock fly and that's like styrofoam and that
yeah.
kind of so I'm like, okay, so I had to keep reminding myself this was set, you know, 50 years ago versus today. So
And we should mention we're watching this on Paramount Plus. So these are the cleaned up special edition.
mhm,
So updated graphics and things, but they kept it like 60s, but they updated a lot of stuff.
yeah. So I mean, it definitely that stuff fit the time. And then I also have in my notes 8 pig question mark. So I obviously was very distracted by that guy.
So did you like? Did you Well, when you first watched it, were you you told me you were confused. So why the confusion?
Well, at first I was confused because going on Paramount Plus trying to figure out where I was supposed to be, that was my first confusion. But then my confusion first is like watching it and I didn't realize they had somebody playing the captain who was not like the ones we know.
Yeah, it wasn't Kirk.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah. So I was like, am I watching the right thing?
yeah.
So, but then I realized after, it's like, okay.
Anything else jump out to you for this pilot? Like any
Mm,
preconceived notions of like how Spock was, or
no, I kind of went in with an open brain because I didn't want, like, I didn't watch it back in the day,
yeah,
not because I didn't like, I had like, oh, I don't like this or whatever. It just didn't grab my attention.
yeah.
But I really didn't pay much attention back then. So now, like focusing on it, I'm trying to go in with like an outlook of okay, let's give it a try. Maybe I'll get into it and see what happens.
So Spock is very emotional in this, obviously, but he's not in the series. In the real series, he's not an
Well,
emotional.
and that's the thing is I
It's
thought
logic over emotion.
yeah, he's more like a robotic type personality versus the emotion stuff in it. So I don't know.
Any good like scenes? Was there a scene that stood out to you? Like, what was your favorite scene in this episode, if you remember?
I think probably when he realized that like he knew that they were projecting these things to him, so he was like trying to figure out how to get his brain to shut it off. And when he realized, oh, if I get angry, they don't like that or whatever.
Yeah, it's
And
such a base emotion that they don't know what that is, so they can't read
right.
it.
Right. So I think that when he's starting to figure it out, I'm like, oh, okay. All right. That's cool.
Did you
I can
find that like an interesting like thing? Like aliens wouldn't be they are so advanced from us that they didn't know what hate or anger how to
yes.
read it.
Yeah. I was kind of trying to figure out the um like what they were trying because I was also toying with, are these bad people or are they just people trying to live their life or aliens trying to live their life? So trying to figure out their background as well.
So they were, basically what happened was that ship did crash, but there was only one survivor, and they were trying to help her like live the way she wanted to live, basically.
Right. And when they
But
like
she
show
was
what
really
they really look
disfigured.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
And they put me back together, but they had no references, which makes sense. And I'm like, okay, so it's almost, I get it, ahead of their time. They're trying to make a better future or a utopia or something
for
somewhere.
her. Because
Yeah,
they are living in the utopia, but they didn't know what to do, how to help this lady. So
right.
they she wanted like a real life person to like be their partner, and
Mhm.
they thought this capturing Pike would be the answer. But um, any thoughts on like the set design or any
Um,
anything that stood out like musically? Like it's not the same intro really that we got that
right. Well,
people know.
there was not the what you normally hear of the like the intro of them.
Of the series.
Yeah, so that was another thing. Um, but then I mean the set design and stuff like that was, again, I was like, oh, okay, this is the 60s, but I did like the fact that they were when they were trying to save him
Yeah,
and like trying to shoot in the door and they're like, it's not working, but then they realized, oh wait, it was, they made them think it didn't
yeah,
work. I didn't see that at first. Usually I pick up on stuff like that, but I didn't see that at first.
yeah. Like it's a solid. I think it's a solid episode.
Yeah.
Um, it has some sci-fi tropes like the big-headed aliens, mind control, that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But with the twist of so Star Trek's really like sci-fi meets like Twilight Zone a lot of times, where
Okay.
like the moral of the story, there's a moral to the story. Um, so like for this, obviously, it's like, do you well, do you sacrifice another human to make somebody else happy, or can you control somebody to make somebody else happy? Obviously, you can't and you shouldn't, but um, no, I thought it was really good, especially for that time. Like, can you see what the studio is saying that it needs to be more actiony, more pew pew than less thinky thinky?
I think so, yeah, for the time, because people, when they're watching TV, they want to like zone out. They don't want to have that mental, at least I think for back then, it was more, I don't want to think. I just want to see things and go across the,
Universe.
yeah. Let's get dive into something that's not reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some trivia here for from IMDb. Original script called for the aliens to be crab-like arthropods. Arthropods? Yeah, that's right. Since the budget would not allow this, they were made into humanoids with bulging brains, beginning a Star Trek tradition of almost all aliens being a shape that could be easily played by human actors.
Okay.
After the pilot aired, the studio told Gene Roddenberry to get rid of the guy with the ears, Mr. Spock. But Roddenberry wanted an alien presence on the bridge and had to fight to keep the character.
Oh.
The first pilot was not aired on TV until guess the year. So this episode was not aired on like broadcast TV until
78.
you're 10 years behind, 1988.
Oh.
It was used as a filler episode for the Star Trek: The Next Generation due to a writer's strike going on at
Oh,
the time.
interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that either, honestly. Maybe that's why I first saw it. Probably, I'm not gonna spoil anything, so I'm not gonna say anything. But this is the first time a lot of people saw the first full episode. Unless you went to like conventions, you could buy it like bootleg and stuff. Um,
I mean, 1988, I was 6. So,
thanks. Um, okay. What do you think IMDb rated this episode
a
out of
4.
10?
Oh.
So it can be like 6.6 is like anything between.
I think a 5.8.
Whoa,
I
nope,
don't.
7.6.
Oh, okay.
So okay, like it's.
Yeah.
I mean I think that's a little. It's mid for as Chris would say for IMDb. I think 8 and above, like 9, is like really like excellent. I think it's almost like it's great grading school. So this is like a C, almost like a C plus.
Well, I
Um,
figured they would go lower only because they didn't show it when it first,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So they may have skewed, but no, I can see that. Give
Um, what do you give it 1 out of 5? You can do 0.5 if you want.
it like a 4. Like it was decent. Like
Wow,
I did,
that high?
yeah, I mean, again, I'm coming in with an open mind. I might give it a lower score if I watch more.
Right. Yeah.
And once I get into it, I probably will skew my judging, but as being like new to this.
Yeah. We'll definitely reassess. Like maybe even after the season, we'll be like, okay, what if you do something you
Mhm.
want to drop, we can drop it. I'm trying to open my notes here so I can add if we're gonna add this. Well, before I even do it, do you want to add this to the top 10 list or no?
No,
No.
no,
Okay, so I'm not
no.
gonna bother. Okay. Does it come close? I know.
Well, since I've only seen 2 episodes, right now it is in my top 10, but
Yeah.
that's all
Well,
because I've seen
it's your
2.
number one right now.
Well, right. No, because I think I liked the second episode better than this first one,
Okay.
but
Well, oh, I didn't give my rating. I'd say 3. It's good. It's good. It's a good episode. I don't think it. I can see why they reshot it, and there's some good acting. I like Pike as a character. Like, if they didn't change the captain, that would have been fine and just kind of worked around him. But I think I like Pike more now because of Strange New Worlds to do one of the new Star Trek
okay.
series. So I think that's clouding my judgment of Pike a little bit.
So do they bring him back?
I am not gonna say. I am not gonna say. Um, well, I mean, by the time we get there, we're gonna be freaking 60. So yes, Strange New Worlds is Pike's Enterprise.
Okay. But here's the thing. I know that we only did 2 episodes for this one. There's a chance we could do more than 2 if we get good at this.
Yeah, I mean, we could do more than two. I think 2 is good though, because then if it's a two-parter, we can just do that two-part episode.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I think 2 is
We
like the perfect.
continue.
Like this only took us 25 minutes, 20
Okay.
minutes to do. So a nice 40-minute, 45-minute episode. Perfect. All right. Well, let's talk about the next episode. Any other thoughts on the cage?
Um, again, I'm looking at my notes and I wrote in bold letters with a question mark, 8 pig, but that's just because he made me giggle. And I was like, okay, I had to know what was going on with him.
Okay. Ready? You like? Okay.
I it
The man trap is next. This is
yes.
the first episode aired on broadcast TV. this was not the pilot episode they shot to get the series to air, but this is the first
Okay.
episode they chose to air. Um, yeah, episode aired September 8th, 1966. What do you think IMDb people rated this one?
I'm gonna say a 7.2.
Holy fuck! Yeah,
I guessed it right on the gate.
right on the dot. Funny. Explain this one to us.
Okay. So they go to a planet. Again, I need to write better notes if we're gonna do this. But um
I mean,
and
we can just assume they go to a planet almost every episode.
yes, well, they're going to a planet. They meet up with people from McCoy's past. Yes?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Okay. I was like, I wrote note. I have to learn how to read my writing too. And they are going to take them off the planet or get them resources. I can't remember why they were there.
They give them resources.
Give them resources. And then they found out they needed salt for living, but then they realized there's a monster of some sort, an alien, um, who then gets on the ship because he wants to suck the salt out of everybody's life. And they discover that and save themselves from the bad guy.
From the bad alien. Yes, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So basically, here's what IMDb has to say. Doctor McCoy discovers his old flame is not what she seems after crew members begin dying from a sudden lack of salt in their bodies. I did not realize salt was that important to your body, to be honest.
Well, you do. You need salt to live. Not
Apparently, because
too much
this
salt.
this alien is eating other people's salt. Um, so this is where we get the first Captain Kirk
Mm-hmm.
with William Shatner. Leonard Nimoy is toned down, getting to that spot that we will get to know. And then we have the Trinity, basically, with Dr. McCoy, Bones. Um, those are the three core people. Um, I forget how much Uhura was in this too, honestly, until I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
She seems to be, I mean, the first one of the first female black actresses on the science fiction show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was important back in the day. Star Trek was, I'm not gonna say the word, but was that before that was even a thing. So, um, thoughts?
Well, and then this is the first time you hear like they the captain's log. That's like
Mm-hmm.
something, right? Um, I mean, I liked it. Again, trying to figure out what's going on and who's doing what. And I think they did a good job transitioning to being like, oh no, she's the bad guy and letting this alien kind of like infiltrate, I think was pretty fun. And then you see more of the like I felt, okay, I know more of the cast or characters in like this one. So I was like, like
More invested.
brought in like Sulu and McCoy and all. I'm like, okay. So just I know the names, I know the characters, but I'm
Yeah.
not like so kind of like wrapping them together. Um and like you hearing the first like Space the Final Frontier intro and
Mm-hmm.
kind of stuff. So that was pretty like all right. So it's being established and getting that routine.
And what do you think of the story in general?
I think it was good. I mean, I again for the 60s, I definitely I can see the story being fun and but you see I mean, watching other TV and things like that, it's like a storyline that I can see in other shows.
Yeah.
So, but
Which
I
is, I
like
think
that.
that's going to be the problem because a lot of these science fiction things happened on Star Trek first. So, like, it's probably something you've seen 1,000 times, but it originated early on in Star Trek.
which is fine. And I mean, I can feel it feels like a prequel or whatever, but I can say, oh, okay, that's where that came from.
Yeah,
Be like my history major side is like, okay,
yeah.
learning how the process went and what they did. So,
What do you think of the alien costume when the full alien was revealed?
I mean, it was good. It wasn't anything that I was like, oh, again, for the times, I think they did a good job. But again, it kind of reminds me of things like Yo Gabba Gabba's costumes.
Okay.
Like the guy in the big suit, so that,
Yeah. Um. Yeah. It's funny because you mentioned so the newer movies are called the Calvin universe because they're in a different universe than the main Star Trek
Oh, okay.
line. Because in the beginning of the movie, if you remember, the Calvin is the ship where Kirk is born. Well, they're getting destroyed,
Oh, yep.
but
Yep.
in the previous timeline, that ship is never destroyed. So and it's called the Calvin. So since it got destroyed, it made a different timeline. So that's why it's different. Anyway, the Horace Spock thing, I never like. Why was that a thing? Why did they make that a thing? It kind of starts here. Is she's hot for Spock
Yes.
for sure in this episode, right? Oh, was I misreading it?
No, I think she's definitely like noticed me
She
and
wants
he's
those ears on her. That's for sure.
sure. No, she definitely was doing the flirting and the whatnot. So,
Um, did this give you any kind of tension? Like, was it with the music and like the mystery? Did you know what was gonna? Did you know what was going on, or did you feel any kind of like tension when the alien went on the ship?
I was a little nervous. Like I could see like once you figured out, okay, this person is not who they say they are because
Yeah,
they're obviously not the long lost love of McCoy. I'm like, okay, so what is happening? But I didn't realize that they could shapeshift.
yeah,
So then I was like, oh, okay. When they turned into McCoy to go chat with them to figure out how are we going to save these people, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
what's happening? Like, who's he going to get? And I like how they were trying to show, okay, this person's not the real person because the alien is doing whatever he is with his hands to his mouth, like
yeah,
I knew adult. So you can kind of say he's like fiending. Um, so you know that you're looking at an imposter versus the real thing. So I do like that how they did that because obviously, um, well, I mean, they could have put like a dot or something on them, but they didn't. Like they used like acting,
yeah.
which was yeah,
Acting. Oh, there's a lot of acting in this with
yes.
Shatner.
Well, I mean, yes, but
Do you do you like Shatner or do you not like Shatner? He's 50-50 for a lot of people.
I do enjoy him most times. I mean, I know I'm gonna get okay, like let's tone it back a little bit. I'll know there'll be some episodes I'm sure I'm gonna be like, are we done yet?
Yeah,
But
but this
but I
wasn't
like
one of those.
the cast of characters around him, I think balances that out.
Yeah,
So I
you
like
need that Spock with that Kirk because it's
yeah,
nice. In the
seeing
McCoy, yeah,
yeah, seeing the dynamic, seeing the like I'm waiting for like the innuendos or whatever's that you're not supposed to say on TV, but you kind of get things. So I'm waiting
well,
to
I mean, they're walking around in miniskirts on a spaceship. I mean, I don't know how much more
understand that.
sexually charged you could be on a 1960s show.
I know, but I'm just waiting for all the things to pop out and be like, oh, there's that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that.
Um. Yeah. So the alien, I thought the alien design for back then was good. I remember watching. This is one of the members I remember. This is one of the things I remember watching when I was a kid because they used to have like a Star Trek fan club on Channel 56 in Boston, and I used to watch it sometimes on there. This alien always scared me for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I like the idea of like the last surviving, and again, it's gonna be a trope. Last surviving alien trying to survive, and
Hmm.
like there's a reason why they're doing the bad thing. But this one, I think it was just didn't have a conscience. It was just purely survival mode. And I kind of liked how the Federation scientist was trying to push off, like, yes, 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 we know, just get off the planet, because he knew that that thing would kill them probably.
Right.
Um, and like him trying to like protect it, but like just it goes awry, like Frankenstein's monster almost. So, yeah, I thought it was a good episode. I like it. What would you rate it?
I'd probably rate it probably about a 4 again because I don't have much to go past.
Okay.
Um,
Well, it's just
I
like as a
think,
normal TV show. If this was aired like okay, let's not say aired today because it'd look a lot different. But if it was aired today with like better graphics and whatever, but
yeah,
the same acting and stuff,
I
would you still
probably
give it a
well, I
four?
maybe a 4 or 4.5 because I don't know. I was more into the I don't know, the side characters. Like I'm thinking what's coming to brain is when they go down to see Sulu and the plant is all happy and everything and then I'm
Yeah,
like,
is that your favorite
"Oh,
scene? I do like that scene. That was a good
I do
scene.
like it." Well, it's more of the I'm looking at the plant and I'm like, "Okay." So I'm looking at how again, I'm looking at sets and
Yeah,
costumes and like my theater geek is coming out and I'm like, "Oh, how did they do that? Let's see how, you obviously tell it's somebody's hand, but
yeah.
oh, that's pretty neat. And like that, I like how they like set up the whole like room and just everything.
So is
But
that your favorite scene then? Was that your favorite scene, the Sulu and the Arboretum, I guess, really, or
yeah,
Science Lab?
yeah, I like that. Yeah, that made me it made me giggle, I guess. So, but I mean, I'm trying to look at it in all angles and like pick things out
Yeah,
and be like, oh, okay, that's how they did that. Or oh, again, for the times, like we have different abilities now than we did back then. So
yeah,
just the way things change.
yeah. And I like, I mean, for what they did back then, I mean, it looks pretty decent, even in today's terms, if you really consider it. Like you can see a zipper probably one here or there, but like other than that, I mean, they worked with what they could. And it's the story that drives it anyway. So it was a decent story. Yeah, I'd give it like a 3.5. I do like this over the cage. Are you more? Do you think you're gonna be more of a? Are you gonna like more of the actiony episodes or the more cerebral episodes? You think?
No,
Oh,
I
good. Moist is now playing Destiny 2. In case you wanted to know.
well, that's good to know. I think, I mean, I like the mind game shows for myself
Yeah,
personally. Um, so I might like those a little bit better, but again, it'll have to come down to the acting. Like the actiony stuff, if it's good and not overacted, I'll probably enjoy.
yeah.
Absolutely. But it's the subtle stuff is more my like picking up the side things or the little clues here and there. That's more my thing.
Okay. All right. Well, next two episodes we're gonna watch are Charlie X and Where No Man Has Gone Before, which was the pilot they shot. So, those two will be coming up. Oh, let's do some trivia. I haven't got the trivia. What's that look? Do any of those episodes ring out to you, or
Well, I'm now trying to figure out why the fourth episode was
it
the pilot.
happens sometimes? It happens to a lot more TV shows than you think.
I'm sure it does, and I don't like being something I didn't know is
Well, it famously screwed over the Clerks animated cartoon because they had animated and the pilot was when the bad guy moves into town, but ABC wanted the pilot to be the one where Jay falls down and sues Quick Stop. So like
Oh,
when they aired that one first, people like the jokes they started to build up didn't make sense. So people like, what the hell was going on?
oh, yeah,
So
that makes
it
sense.
does happen. It does. It sometimes it ruins it, and sometimes it doesn't matter. Like this is not what you would call like a serialized show. Uh,
Okay.
so at this point, like you know the difference between serialized and non-serialized, right? Or do you not? Because I honestly don't know if you know. Okay, so like a serialized show is like Murders in the Building. It's one plot line
Okay.
throughout the whole season.
Okay.
Non-serialized is like House, where some things like continue on, but
Right.
like you can watch any episode of House and it's
You can
fucking
skip
House.
it and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this is right now at this point. This is like House.
Okay.
We get more serialized toward the end of Next Generation a little bit, but Deep Space Nine is where
Like you have to watch the
there's a
beginning.
fucking through line to that
Okay.
show.
Okay.
Um, so trivia. Although the first episode to air on NBC, this was actually the sixth episode produced by NBC. They chose to air this episode first because they felt it had more action than any of the first five episodes, and it also featured a monster.
Well, they were in a gauntlet, or he was in the whatever trying to save her.
uh, oh, this is funny. We were talking about this. Grace Lee Whitney considered the Arboretum scene of Rand and Sulu as one of her favorite scenes of the series. Grace Lee is the blonde lady.
Yep.
She recalled that shooting the scene was quite funny, and the entire cast and crew were in a light-hearted atmosphere. Some crew jokes were told in connection with Beauregard and her, and even the puppeteer below the table, like you said, Bob Barker, tried to reach for her short skirt with the puppet. Man, the 60s are wild.
I don't
Uh,
know. I'm just thinking how lighthearted, like George Sakai sitting there.
Bob Barker sounds familiar. I would just want to click on his name for a minute.
Bob
Because
Barker,
he worked
like,
with the
is he
Muppets.
right?
He was a big Muppeteer on the
Well,
Muppets.
and that was another thing I was thinking. I'm like, is this a Jim Henson thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
No, but there is a famous um, the guy who create I can't think of his name and it's gonna kill me. The guy who creates the monsters did become like famous. Like he won
okay,
like Emmys and stuff.
okay.
Um, why can't I think? I can't think of his name. It's gonna kill me. Whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it. Yeah. So there's some trivia for you. For the first time on camera, Uhura wears a red uniform instead of a gold one. From the earlier filmed episodes, the Corbinite maneuver in Mud's Women. Okay, we haven't seen those ones yet, so.
No.
All right. So, are you after watching these two? Are you do you wish we started with something more recent, or are you happy we're going this way? Are you excited
Okay.
for the future, or are you like, oh, I don't really want to watch these?
Well, no, I'm good. One, I like to get through this one because obviously it's where it started, but also, um, like coming in with an open mind. So I don't mind starting here.
Yeah,
It's more of the, okay, I can see why, like my mom would like this, or, um, like just learning. Again, I'm coming into it more about research for like what I've already seen,
yeah,
what I've heard, and be like, okay, so that makes sense why this is like this, or now I get that joke more because I've seen this
yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah. Okay. All right. So next episode. So what's gonna happen is Chris and Sarah and you and I are gonna go back to back. So you'll see Chris and Sarah doing. I think did they either did Daredevil or we next episode after us will be Daredevil, Ben Affleck's Daredevil director's cut, which I'll be a guest on. And then we'll be back with um, the two I just said, which Charlie X and Window Man has gone before, and yeah, we'll just go back and forth. And we need a sign off now. I didn't even think of one.
I don't know.
Thanks, hon. You're a huge help.
Not
What a,
prepared.
what a great co-host you are. I don't know.
I am a great care.
You're a great. What do they call it? I can't think of words, and you can't play
My
off
brain
me.
is fried, and I don't know what we're talking about. Um,
Comedies when they like whose line is it in a way? What kind of comedy is that?
Stand up,
No, it's not stand up. It's
and then
and then yeah, that kind of comedy. Yes, and
yes, and no, and then
yeah, you know, no, I got nothing. Thanks.
no, and then no, and then.
Um, I don't do beat me up because that's so fucking dumb. I guess that's it. Let's see what's out there. I guess I don't know. We'll think of something.
Okay,
Say bye.
I don't know. Goodbye. We'll see you later.